This is a place to be for education about asexuality. So subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So in tonight's episode, we're going to be discussing what it feels like to be a second runner-up for Speaker of the Year and what this means for asexuality. If you're new to this channel, you don't know who I am, I'm Sandra Bellamy. I'm author of this Asexual Perspectives book, which is on Amazon. It's still at Black Friday prices right now, even though we're in the week after Black Friday, if you get it on Kindle. So if you're looking to get this, please go and get it now. And also Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 7 to 8 Life Lessons to Ace Your Life. These are available on Kindle really inexpensively at the moment, but they won't be on there for very much longer. Hello, Olivia. Nice to see you. And grab a copy of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. Again, all of these are on excellent Kindle deals at the moment. So, yes, what does it feel like to be a second runner-up for Speaker of the Year? So if you didn't already know, I was in London last week, a week ago tomorrow, and I was a finalist in 2 categories for the Women's Business Awards run by Women's Business Club. And I was a finalist for Diversity Inclusion Award and for Speaker of the Year Award. So although I didn't win Diversity and Inclusion Award and I didn't come a runner-up in that, I did in fact come the second runner-up. I was awarded the second runner-up for Speaker of the Year, which is absolutely phenomenal. Hello, Heather. Thank you for the congratulations. Absolutely blew my mind. I worked really, really hard for that. And what you might not have gathered from the video clips I shared is that the organizer was saying in front of everyone that I worked really hard on my profile in the Women's Business Club, because what happened was the judges were basing their decision on who wins largely on the women's business profile that we create in the Women's Business Club. And I literally maxed out the amount of posts we're allowed to put on there. So we had to have 3 pages. In my case, I got a speaker page, about page, and then personal page. But the personal and the about's very similar, because obviously I talk about my own asexual life, personal journey on this channel to help others in theirs. So it kind of like personal, professional just all blends together for me. And I want to say thank you to Heather for voting for me, because I got a list of everyone who voted for me provided by the organizer and the lovely comments people wrote to put on my website and social media afterwards. I haven't shared that yet, but I really thank Heather was one of the people that voted for me in both categories actually. And I saw the beautiful comments you left me. So much love to you, Heather. Thank you so much. And it was really lovely to see all the beautiful comments people shared. So I will be putting them on socials, particularly on my websites. But I'm trying to do the publicity stage at the moment. So when I won the runner-up for the Speaker of the Year, I was like so elated. I screamed. And if you play back the video, you will hear like me screaming. Olivia says, I wish I could have, but I didn't know my phone number. I don't think you had to provide your phone number. I don't think, or did it? I don't think the form asked for your phone number, did it? I mean, I couldn't complete a form, obviously, because I was not allowed to vote for myself. But I actually went through a lot of the form so that other people, I could see what other people would have to go through in order to provide instructions. I needed an account to vote. Right, okay. Heather, I'm glad, Sandra. Thank you. I'm not sure what you mean when you said you need an account to vote. Voting was done by email, without people being in the club. It's done by email on a form. So all you needed was an email, your name and your address, I think. So that's what I thought, but I could be wrong because I don't know. Heather, you know, did you have to provide a phone number? I mean, I just got given the email. I don't even know if I got given the email. I think I just got given the name and surname of the person and the comment they left, because their email is confidential. So I didn't even get their email, but the organizer would have got their email. It asked where you were located. Ah, okay. Thank you, Heather. Yeah, so I didn't, I think it took me to a different website because I don't know my password. Laugh out loud. You didn't need a password for it. You shouldn't have needed a password because it's literally filling in a form and just putting your email, with any email you can use. So, yeah, you don't need a password unless you needed to get into your emails. Then you need a password, obviously, for your emails. But anyway, let's crack on. Thank you for the thought anyway, Olivia. I appreciate it. So, yeah, so I went last week to London and I spent 3 days there. But the first day I was there was Wednesday, was the Women's Business Awards. So I had a lot of trouble finding the place, which you might have discovered through the videos I shared. So it was an absolute nightmare. It was at Church House in Westminster, near, basically, well, next door to Westminster Abbey. But we got an email the night before that said that there's a security alert, and we basically, the security people had sectioned off all the front entrance to the venue. So we had to go around the back entrance. So that made everything much worse to find. And I was a bit worried that they did that night before. I didn't want to say anything on this channel because I didn't want to worry other people, like my family and stuff, my parents. So I just thought, I'm a bit worried about that, but I needn't have been worried. I don't even know what that email was for, really, because when I got there was no top-notch security. But there was someone campaigning further down the road. So I don't know if it had something to do with that. You know, they were campaigning for Russia or something, like free people from Russia or something. I don't know what they were talking about, but it was very political. And I thought maybe it was to do with that. There was an activist and he was saying stuff and chanting it and other people were supporting him. So you can't be too careful these days. So anyway, yeah, I got the email the night before. And then I ended up going there, but I got lost. I was on my own, so I didn't know the way. But I had Google Map, but I'm not very good with Google Maps. I had it physically because my phone doesn't work on Google Maps. And usually I'm not good with Google Maps. I don't read them right. But anyway, I printed all the information off Google Maps, a lot of it, right? And it still didn't make any sense when I got there. And I just went the wrong direction when I came out of the tube station, which didn't help. So when I read the map, eventually I found out that I was reading it the wrong way because someone told me. Or I don't know if it's that day or another day. No, it's another day I got lost. I got lost in London, I think, every single time I went to a new venue. I got a bit lost and had to ask people. But this place was called Church House, and it was I couldn't find it. And this is where the Women's Business Awards were being held. And there's supposed to be a networking, but by the time I got there was no actual official networking. Luckily, I did make it in time for the actual awards ceremony itself and the 3-course meal, which was delicious. So I didn't actually miss anything of that, which was good. I was so relieved, but I was so not happy when I came out the tube station. I had my map in front of me and I went to the right and I started walking and I kept walking and walking and walking until eventually I just thought, this cannot be right. There's something a bit wrong here. And so I saw this security guard outside a hotel. It's a really posh, plush hotel. And he was letting people in and out with their cars, right? But he was helping me and he was trying to get me a map on his phone. I still have the pictures from when he took it off his phone, and he felt that sorry for me because it was raining and I had my new fur coat, fake fur coat on, because I bought a new coat because I just got a rain mat, which is waterproof, but it's when you go walking in or hiking or outdoor stuff. It didn't look right with my pretty sparkling dress. And so I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I bought, in the daytime, I'd been into the city. I'd been to Zara, I think it was on Oxford Street. And I got this beautiful fake fur coat, which is really gorgeous. And it happened to just come, basically just virtually at the same length as my dress, or a little bit underneath the dress, lower down than the dress. So it was perfect for my dress. And I felt so much better in it, and it really stood out and looked beautiful with my sparkling dress, but obviously it wasn't waterproof. And when I was like lost, this security guard saw me when I was talking to him, and he thought that, oh, I was gonna get wet. So he asked me if I got an umbrella, and I said no, and he gave me his really expensive umbrella. I have still literally got it now. And it's like a 50 quid umbrella. It's so heavy though. It's like lifting weights. And that was the only problem. When I was carrying it, my arm was really hurting because I was carrying my new gold bag, because I got a new gold bag for the event. And then I had to carry the umbrella at the same time, and it was hard to carry the umbrella because it hurts, because it's heavy. That's the only problem. That's one of the reasons why I don't use umbrellas, but often it's because they blow inside out. But this is such a like high-tech umbrella that's really expensive. There's not much chance of it blowing inside out, to be honest. So anyway, I've got it, and I guess I will use it sometimes, especially now I've got a fake fur coat, because obviously you know what I mean, I'm not going to be wearing a raincoat with that, so I might get a bit wet. But sometimes if it's like I'm carrying a lot of stuff, it's no good to me to do that, because it just hurts too much. Because of my fibromyalgia, obviously. I've got fibromyalgia, which doesn't help. Chronic pain condition that affects the nerves and muscle body if you're new to this channel. So anything that's extra weight actually hurts. Good for building muscles and bone density though, which is a good thing. So anyway, this security guard gave me these instructions with a map. So I tried to follow along, and he kept telling me where it was, but I'm really, my direction sense isn't good. It's quite good on the tubes. When I'm on the tubes and I know where I'm going, I usually ask tube staff anyway, then I'm usually okay. But outside of the tubes, I'm not very good. And so I went complete wrong way. So I had to go all the way back to where I'd come from in this tube station, and then go further on the opposite direction. But then he said, go the opposite direction. And I thought he said turn left, but when I turned left, it just didn't look right, even though I was left. So there was these outside catering staff. It's like a cafe or restaurant or something, but there was like these outside caterers outside it. I didn't get it. It was like an add-on or something. I didn't really understand it. I'm thinking, why is there outside catering outside a restaurant where there's inside catering? I didn't really understand that. I still don't understand that. Unless they were trying to catch passers-by and trade outside the restaurant for like takeaway food. That's the only thing I can think they were doing. So anyway, I asked one of them people, and then they said, oh, you need to go up there. But they were like pointing. And I said, but how can I? There's a tree there. And they were like, oh, go up there. But I said, right in front of you. And I'm like, but there's a tree there and fence. I don't understand. So my brain just doesn't get it. Because I've got anxiety and I've got CPTSD and fibromyalgia, it does impair cognitive function with some new unfamiliar information, if you know what I mean. And when it comes to directions and it's new place area that I haven't been to before, like I haven't been really in the Westminster area in London, my brain just gets, especially at night, just gets kind of scrambled and I don't understand. But when they point literally, and in front of me was opposite where I was stood was literally a fence with a tree. It's like, how can it be directly in front? So I'm taking it really literally. And Heather said celebration song is needed. I know YouTube doesn't allow it. I'm happy for you. Thank you, Heather. I actually did the song earlier. Celebrate good times, come on, do 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 do. Yeah, I didn't do the do. But yeah, I did actually play the song. I did a compilation of photographs, and I did the celebration song by Kylie Minogue. Celebrate good times, come on. So, I like singing that song. That's as far as the words I know. I think I know a few more than that, but anyway. So yes. And so I want to tell you how my lost escapades went. Bear in mind, I left my hotel at 6:10 p.m. Right? So when the outside catering people were go along there, eventually the guy did actually walk with me to the end of the restaurant to actually show me with his finger. And he said, "Oh, you see that?" I said, "Where the flags are?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, "Oh, I walk up there." He goes, "Yeah, walk up there and then ask some police officers." So I had to walk up there and like turn left, and then there were some police officers. He was right about the police officers. And then I had to ask 2 police officers where to go. So these 2 police officers have said, go down there. There's like a pathway across this park. And I'm like, is it safe at this time of night? They're like, yeah, it's safe. You can't miss it. So I went down this road, which is part of a park. And then it's like, where do I go from there? Because it's like a built-up residential area. And I looked at the map, and so I went round, and then I stopped, and I flagged this taxi driver who's just like basically just going past, and I got him to stop. And I said, please, can you tell me where this is, Church House? So he got his Google map out and said, it's meant to be here. It's meant to be here, where you're stood now. I'm like, yeah, I know it's meant to be here where I'm stood now, but the problem is, it's not here. That's why I'm having trouble. It doesn't make any sense. It's meant to be here, but it's not. And even he couldn't work it out. He said, well, it should be here. He said, I think it's just around the corner up there. So I started heading round the corner up there, and I was walking where he told me to walk. And then a couple of minutes later, he comes around the block and says, oh, I found where you're looking for. It's back like there. It's across that road there, and it's round the corner. I've seen it. So then I went down the road and around the corner, like he said. And then I couldn't get in the place. It's like the door was locked. And I'm thinking, where is the entrance? So then I see this guy who's literally delivering stuff, and it looks like he's delivering it to the back of Church House. Church House is where I need to go. So I said, hey, hi there, I'm trying to get in for an award ceremony. How do I get into the building? And he's like, what? I said, you're delivering to the building. I think this is Church House you're delivering to. I need to get into Church House. How do I get into it? But he didn't understand like how to get into it. He didn't even know what I was talking about, I don't think. I think he was Indian, actually. He's foreign. And so anyway, he took me around the corner and walked with me, and there was this other foreign guy that came, and he actually did know where it was and how to get into the entrance. So that's how I eventually got in. But I didn't arrive till about 7:18, and I left my hotel at 6:10. So it was like over an hour it took me to get there. And then there was some photographers who took photographs of me with my fur coat. I've seen them because you can purchase photographs afterwards. It's a lot of money to attend an award ceremony. You'd think it was free, but it's not. And so anyway, yeah, so the fur coat, the photographs don't look great because I just arrived and I was very flush and everything. But they took some other photographs later. I'm going to get at least one of them. But yeah, so I eventually arrived, and luckily for me, I was able to go to the toilet and I was able to go in, and the ceremony hadn't actually started yet. And they served us a 3-course meal. So I did put videos about that on. Thank you for the hearts. I can just see the hearts going up. Oh, lots of love. So yeah, so the 3-course meal was delicious. As you know, I've got loads of food allergies and intolerances. And at first they brought something else out, and I'm like, that's not me. I've got allergies. And they're like, oh, sorry. Everyone else was having like a piece of steak with some potato and carrot by the look of it. It was a bit weird. Anyway, I was really glad to get my food because I had a salad for starter. They did suggest a tomato soup, but sometimes my tummy's not very good to tomatoes, and I said to them, there's usually sugar in tomato soup. There's not very many soups that, it's tomato soup that don't have sugar in. So anyway, they decided to give me a salad instead, which I was happier with because I know I'm fine with salad. I didn't want a poorly tummy at the award ceremony. That would have been awful. And then for my main course, I had boiled potatoes, kale, and chicken breast. And then for dessert, I had kiwi fruits, pineapples, and I think it was some melon. So it's all really, really nice. But they served this during the actual award ceremony while people were being given their awards. So that was a kind of weird. And I had apple juice as well with no added sugar to drink, which was good because I couldn't drink the alcohol. So I was sat on table 19. And the people were there, nice and friendly there. But yeah, when the diversity inclusion finalists was read out, well, they weren't read out. They were just like on a board. The finalists were on a board. My name was on there, which was great. And then they announced the actual winners. So I didn't win anything or come runner-up in that. But yeah, thank you, Heather, for being here. I really appreciate it. That's a 70s song, however, I love it. Oh, the celebration. Yeah, Kylie Minogue did a more up-to-date version. I think hers is a 90s version. because, you know, I think hers is a 90s version. But yeah, the Celebrate song is originally hit, like you said, I think in the 70s. But Kylie Minogue did a modern version of it, you know. She did the same song, but put her own, you know, spin on it, as in tone. So, yeah, I think hers was in the 90s, I think. So, I keep getting asked to try a sticker game by YouTube. I don't even know what it's talking about. Why is YouTube trying to flash stickers at me? Honestly, YouTube is putting me off. Right. Anyway, so when it came, so I didn't get anything for Diversity Inclusion Awards, and I was thinking, all right, okay, so I'm not going to get anything. And then when they put, because on the board for the finalists for the Speaker of the Year, there's me and like 19 other people. My name's the last on the board. And I was thinking, oh my God, so I'm not going to get anything. And I worked really hard. I really wanted Speaker of the Year badly. I'll tell you that now. Like, all my profile in the Women's Business Club is geared towards being a speaker. Plus, obviously, it showcases my diversity inclusion within my speaking as well. So I really maxed out my profile. I actually put in more posts than's allowed because it deleted some of my other posts. Then I had to do a workaround where I had to like amalgamate some posts together in order to get some other posts back. It's a bit of a long story, but there's a technical fault with their site and the fact that it doesn't tell you, oh, you've maxed out your posts. Instead, it just deletes some of your other posts or hides them really to make way for the new ones. So if you want them back, you then have to delete the new ones to get the ones that it's hidden back. It's very complicated. So anyway, I had to amalgamate some posts and sort it all out. But it worked out really well in my favour in the end, because they did say when they announced that I was second runner-up for Speaker of the Year, that I worked really hard on my profile. So that's basically why I won, because I worked so hard on my profile. I worked really hard. A lot of hours were poured into lots of different posts in there. You can still go in there and see the posts. So I did a lot of work on that. And I specifically targeted all the different posts to do different facets of my speaking. And there was one which is a video about my book review, but it was from the person who met me at Blue Talks, who's not asexual actually. She was reviewing my Asexual Perspectives book. But she said she met me when I spoke at Blue Talks for at Oxford University, for Blue Talks. So that's all to do with speaking, even though it was my book review. So it was really good. And I collected some of the comments from this channel and I added them to the one of the posts, the first post. So yeah, I was really pleased with my profile. And I know Angela, who's the organizer, said it looked great as well. So I'm really, 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 really thrilled to be second runner-up for Speaker of the Year, because it just means the world to me. Like, I was basically up against all those other people. There's me and 19 other people in that category, you know. And if you think someone won it and another person came first runner-up, there's still like 17 other people besides me that were in the Speaker of the Year category that could have won the second runner-up, but didn't. So to beat the competition, which is really high, some of these people, they speak a lot for a living. Do you know what I mean? One person I know from Blue Talks, and she has a business around speaking. Do you know what I mean? So I was up against really tough competition, very high quality businesswomen. And I feel really honoured and blessed to have won the second runner-up for Speaker of the Year. And I did work really hard, so I'm glad my efforts paid off. I remember when I was at school, I didn't used to be an A student, but I got told that, you know, in terms of effort, I was like an A, but in terms of like academic, like grades, I was never an A student. I was like A for effort, 100% effort. Always on, you know, when you have parents' evening, it was always like Sandra puts 100% effort into whatever she does. She's like 100% there with effort. But I never actually got an A in any of my subjects. but with the effort, I was all there. And I think if you're trying to succeed in business or in life or anything, and you really want something badly, the thing is what other people might have in terms of like qualities, being able to get like the A grade, if you know what I mean, you can make up for in the amount of effort and focus and determination you have at something. Because I have a lot of focus and determination. This channel now has gone over 1.7 million views. This channel, 1.7 million views. And it wasn't long ago that I announced it had 1.6 million views. It's only about a month ago, something like that. So this channel has seen phenomenal growth. Like, it took me over 9 years to get 1 million views. Last year on the 23rd of December 2024. Over 9 years, because I started this channel October 2015. So over 9 years it took to get 1 million. And in the last under a year, so since the 23rd of December, we're now on the 9th, I should say, of December, right? So less than a year, has gained over another 700,000 views on this channel. It's like 716,000 and climbing. It was yesterday, I think it was. So, you know, on top of the million. So that is just phenomenal growth. And I've worked really hard for that. Like, I used to put out 3 to 5 short videos a day. Most days now I'm averaging 8 to 12 shorts a day. There's a lot of content. I put a lot of effort into this channel. And I try to connect with all different types of people in order for people to understand asexuality. So this is why I'm coming on to asexuality. So with this channel, you might have noticed that I do a lot of content that's not directly related to asexuality, right? And some people might wonder, why do I do that? It might interest you to know that my most popular videos are not my asexual videos. So when I polled people on this channel to see what they watch most about my channel, it came out top for asexual education. But interestingly, those videos are not my most watched videos at all. By comparison, the views are a lot lower, which is very interesting. So in order to bring more people outside of the asexual spectrum into this channel, I have to create content that's relatable universally to a lot of people, right? This is to fulfill my personal mission of getting asexuality recognized as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. This is my lasting legacy. This is something I need to do now while I'm alive, so that when I'm no longer here in the future, which I hope will not be for a long, long time, because I want to be here for a long, long time. So I hope I will not be here for a long, long time, but I'll be here for a long, long time, if that makes sense. But I need it to be a lasting legacy to pave the way for the future generations so that they can all live in harmony together among sexuals, right? But I want that to happen now, obviously, and I'm working towards it while I'm still here on planet Earth alive, right? But I think about the future and future generations, and I don't want people to go through what a lot of us have to go through and endure, which is like a lot of asexuals have to endure sexual harassment, for example, because people just don't understand that a lot of asexuals don't naturally want, need, or like sex. That's not true for every asexual, but for a lot of asexuals, you know, people think that everyone wants sex, that it's natural for everyone, but it's really not. And on this channel, I like to normalize asexuality. Like, I'm a different person because of my personality, and I like to be different in that way, but I'm just like other people in terms of what I can do, like go to aquariums, go to theme parks. I can't go to theme parks at the moment because of my spinal injury, but, you know, going to zoos and aquariums and, you know, out to the cinema for meals. These are all things that people who are not asexual can do. By normalizing asexuality, people can be more comfortable with it, more comfortable with seeing an asexual person, i.e. me. Then they can understand there's nothing wrong with asexuality. It's just that some people are wired differently to not want, like, or need sex. And these people are asexuals. You know, they fall into the category of the asexuality spectrum, right? We know that asexuality is a spectrum. Some people are pure asexuals like me, don't experience any sexual attraction. Then you've got the grey asexuals, who sometimes do experience sexual attraction, but only under limited, rare, or specific circumstances, or experience it, but not enough to act on it, usually. So that's the generic definition of grey asexual. So this is why I do the content I do, right? And by being runner-up speaker of the year, second runner-up speaker of the year, right? This is very impactful for not just me, but for asexuality, because when I'm talking as a speaker, it means people will take me more seriously because I've got more credibility. And for my talks already to be taken seriously, this channel to be taken seriously with how much speaking I do on it regularly, then this is paving the way for more things to come, better things to come with asexuality, and giving our voices to the world to hear that we are here and that we are valid and that we matter, right? I feel that my voice represents asexuality and asexuals. And so when I win that award, when I've won that award, which I have, then that just doesn't represent me. It represents the people that I represent, which is asexuals, asexuality. But I also represent people with disabilities, because I have hidden disabilities I talk about on this channel. You know, I actually am a very diverse and inclusive channel, because I include fully asexuality in the asexual spectrum, which is a minority sexual orientation that I belong to. I cover hidden disabilities, with including mental and physical disabilities. I've got generalized anxiety disorder, CPTSD, which are classed as mental health disabilities, and physical disabilities such as fibromyalgia and the broken bones in my spine, which have permanently damaged my spine. So and I've got osteopenia, but none of the markers for it. I'm still under 50. I have periods regularly. I've got no problems with my calcium or vitamin D and all that lot. Do you know what I mean? No drinking, no smoking, and anything like that. But I just wanted to say these are all classed as like disabilities, right? And so, and I know history of it in my family, so it's very unusual. So I wanted to say this because I represent those people as well. I represent people like myself who have legal age gap love, right? So I represent diversity and inclusion of, like I said, asexuality and minority sexual orientation, people with disabilities and mental health difficulties, and also people who are having age gap, legal age gap love, right? Because again, that's another minority, right? People think everyone should be the same age to have a relationship or very similar age. But that doesn't necessarily work out for everyone, because not everyone's attracted to everyone that's near the same age as them, right? So I like to incorporate all these people like myself into this channel. And by giving a voice to people who are in a minority and who are more vulnerable or who are more susceptible to ridicule and not being accepted, to give a voice to those people, when I win and have won runner-up speaker of the year, second runner-up speaker of the year, I represent all your voices. I represent all of the people that cannot speak up for themselves or are afraid to, or don't have the platform to do it like I do. And so by having the prestigious award that I've won, it gives me a lot more credibility to be able to talk about these things in more talks. So I might do a talk for other people that are not asexual, but weave asexuality into it by the fact that I do this channel. The fact that I do this channel called Asexualise My Asexual Life, people want to know, what is asexual? What does it mean? So it automatically means I talk about asexuality. And it's easier for me to bring it up in conversation and explain to people what it means for me. So if you don't know what it means for me, it means I don't get the need, urge, or want for partner sexual intercourse. And I say this openly, whether I'm having a radio show interview, whether I'm chatting to someone I've met at a business networking event, I talk about what asexuality means to me. Most people would shy away from this type of stuff. They'd be like, you can't say that in public. And I say it all the time, because I see that as my job. I see it as my job to divulge this information to enhance and empower the lives of asexuals, and to talk about asexuality in an open way so that more people will get to understand it and be comfortable with it. When I'm talking about asexuality and I'm an award-winning speaker, that gives me a lot more credibility. People will take me more seriously, and asexuality deserves to be taken seriously. It's a genuine sexual orientation that's based on a lack of sexual attraction, and it deserves to have the limelight. It deserves to have recognition. But me talking about other topics as well that aren't directly related to asexuality normalizes asexuality, because then people can relate to me and realize that asexuals are relatable. It's just we're a bit different in our sexual orientation. That's basically it. Right? There's nothing wrong with us. It's something that's just different about us, and that's okay. So winning Speaker of the Year runner-up, second runner-up, means that it makes me be able to more easily access other resources, because I can say I'm an award-winning speaker. It enables me to have credibility when I talk about asexuality, to be taken more seriously. And that's what we need. We need to move forward as a community for people to better understand us in a positive way. When people have given me that award over a lot of people who are not asexual, we're talking most likely heterosexuals, then that is really good, because it means they're fully inclusive and they're seeing me as a human being that is worthy of that award. And so therefore that represents the fact that asexuals are human beings and worthy of being here in life. I mean, I don't need an award to tell you that, but it does add to the recognition that a lot of us crave as asexuals, because for a lot of the years we're made to feel small, or that we don't matter, or there's so much like advertisement of sex, and sex is natural, you've got to have sex in a relationship, if you're not having sex something's wrong, and all this lot, that it kind of makes us feel left out and lonely and isolated and not in society, but some like enigma or something, and some kind of weird esoterical out there, rather than being part of the world. But when I have got this recognition, which is recognition for all of us, it's an acceptance. To me, it's like saying, yeah, your asexuality and asexuality in general is accepted. It's accepted, it's acceptable, and it's exceptional the way you talk about it. And so therefore it's kind of highlighting it in a really positive way. And when we have a lot of negative talk about asexuality, we really need more positive talk about asexuality to counteract all the negativity we can get. Like, oh, get your hormones checked. Is it a disease? Is it a mental illness? And all these horrible things we get thrown at us, and like, oh, you just haven't had my dick yet. I hate that one. That's one of the worst. But yes, unfortunately, I still hear that to this day, right? People saying stupid stuff like that, right? Just, it's disgusting. And it's very abusive. And it shouldn't be allowed. But unfortunately, the world is full of sexual stuff. And some people are still getting away with saying this. It's very rude. So I just want to say that I think this is amazing. That it does mean that I'm probably going to push myself to do more speaking. And even though I may speak on topics not necessarily directly related to specifically asexuality, then I'm still going to bring asexuality into the conversation, which allows it to broaden out into bigger spheres that maybe otherwise wouldn't have asexuality. This is what I do when I go to meetups. So I used to hold asexual meetups in my city of Exeter for 5 years, and people from all over the UK used to come to them. But now I go out into other meetups, such as tech meetups and writing meetups, and then I talk about the work I do for asexuals on this channel and what asexuality is about. So I am speaking about asexuality in different social and work related environments. So this is spreading the word of asexuality to different communities that may otherwise have never have heard of asexuality at all. This requires me to be very bold, open, and honest in my communication to break through those barriers and talk to people. And it's been very interesting because I've had some people who have figured out, one guy said, I think my wife's asexual, when he heard what asexuality is all about. Although it seems like his wife was asexual and aromantic, didn't want romance either, because I said, well, I am romantic. He goes, that's a person then that doesn't want sex and they're not interested in romance. I said, well, I'm a romantic asexual. Some asexuals are romantic, some are non-romantic. And when I'm talking to heterosexuals, I do try and put things in their language. Like, there's a lot of people on different channels, right? With asexual channels, a lot of them are very heavily invested in the LGBT plus community, because LGBT plus QIA, the A stands for asexual, and some people would say other things, right? And so it's kind of like more well known about asexuality in the LGBT plus community. But my God-given mission, I know, is to get asexuality recognized as a sexual orientation in its own right globally. This doesn't take us out of the LGBT plus community, because we'll always be part of that so long as we're part of the acronym. But it does mean that we can have a voice in our own right and be recognized in our own right. Why is this important? Because some asexuals never want sex. They're sex repulsed and they don't experience sexual attraction, and that leads to repulsion or not being interested. Not every asexual is like this, but for those, I think I said for those, didn't I? For those who are like this, it's very important that we are universally recognized as also our own separate entity from LGBT plus, because people are lesbian, gay, and bisexual. They all want sex, just not with the normal hetero type of relationship, right? They still experience sexual attraction. Some can experience massive amount of sexual attraction, but it's just to different genders that would be considered the norm, right? Whereas asexuals have their sexual orientation based on a lack of sexual attraction, not experiencing sexual attraction. And so therefore we are different in our sexual orientation, and that's important to get it recognized in our own right, because we are more susceptible to sexual abuse, because many of us don't want sex in the first place, and people will push us and think we're just being frigid, or there's something weird going on, or we're restraining ourselves and we're waiting for the right moment, we're waiting for the right person, and all these types of things, right? You're celibate. Nope. Celibacy is choice, asexuality isn't. You're abstaining. Nope, I'm not repressing or suppressing myself. I don't have those feelings in the first place. This is a difference, right? So it's really important that I enable asexuality to be recognized globally in this entity by itself also. It's very, very important. This is important for future generations. I don't just think of me being alive right now, here. I think of future generations and the importance of getting asexuality recognized globally in its own right, especially with thought leaders, the people that have loud voices. And the more I speak and speak out and speak about asexuality and get recognized for that, the more credibility I have, the more people are likely to listen to me about asexuality and understand I know what I'm talking about. I've been on this channel now talking about asexuality for over a decade. I'm too young for that, really, right? But it's true. 2015, I started this channel, right? October 2015. So we've gone past the decade, whole 10 years now. You have a lot of trauma. And that's got nothing to do with my asexuality. Thank you for that. So, just because someone has a lot of trauma doesn't mean to say they're asexual, right? My trauma has absolutely nothing to do with my asexuality whatsoever. If I wanted sex, I would have it. I'm just not interested in it because I don't get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse at all. I still love kissing, I still love cuddling, and I still love, affection. So, but I just don't like sex. I'm not interested in it at all. So, yeah. And I know people who are traumatized, who are heterosexual, they're still having sex. I know someone who specializes in CPTSD, because I do have CPTSD, which I'm quite open about, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So it means you've had multiple traumas in your life. And there's a person who is a member of Blue Talks. I'm a Blue Talk speaker. And so I believe she's done a talk, but she's part of Blue Talks anyway, community. And she specializes in talking about CPTSD and helping people to recover from traumatic abusive relationships, such as narcissistic ones and stuff like that. So CPTSD is a real thing. It means you've had a lot of trauma, and she has, but she's very heterosexual. So just because someone's had a lot of trauma doesn't make them asexual. Right? I have to be very, very crystal clear on that. She's got multiple children. I think she's got over 4 children now, and a beautiful husband. She's got a loving husband. So trauma does not make you asexual. I know someone who used to be a housemate of mine, and she'd had sexual abuse, but she was still very heterosexual and had a lot, liked sex. So just because someone's had trauma doesn't make them asexual, right? My asexuality has got nothing to do with the trauma I've experienced, right? I have had sex in the past, even though I'm asexual, right? So trauma never stopped me having sex in the past. I just couldn't bring myself to do it anymore. And I'd had a good sexual experience, the last one I ever had. And so there was nothing wrong with the way the last guy was with me. It was actually the previous guy, so we're not good at that. But he was really good at that, right? And so, because he used to be good at foreplay and stuff like that, right? So I've had good sexual experience. The last experience I had of sex was good, but that was in 2011. And I found out I'm asexual in 2014. And thank God I haven't had sex all that time, because I'm not interested in it. I have no need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse whatsoever. I just don't get that, even if I'm kissing a guy for a long period of time. So I love kissing so much, and I love cuddling and holding hands, but I'm a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, so I absolutely love kissing, which is not normal for asexuals. A lot of asexuals don't even like much kissing at all, but I do. So I have a very unique story to share like that. But every asexual is different. I'm always telling you on this channel, if you're looking to date or get into a relationship with an asexual person, please ask them how their asexuality affects them in their relationship, how their sexual orientation manifests itself in everyday activities in their life. For example, with me, I'm not interested in nudity. I've always been nudity repulsed at a very young age. My parents didn't understand it. But now they know I'm asexual, and since I found out I'm asexual, it makes a lot more sense. So, but a lot of asexuals, they don't care about nudity. I do. I'm very nudity repulsed. And even though I've had sex in the past, I was much more interested in other things, like listening to my music in my headphones. Not doing that. I only did it because I thought I had to as part of a normal relationship. And so some asexuals have had sex because they thought they had to. But now I realise I don't have to, and there's thousands of other people who are asexual. It's great, because I'm like, I don't have to have sex, and I actually do really love being single. So I think it's very important to enjoy your single life. But there are asexuals that get into relationships with other asexuals, and some of those are married. I know they are, because I know couples that are, who are both asexual in the relationship and both married. So don't give up hope, because it does happen. Right? And I think it's very, very bad when people come on this channel and be rude in comments. There's absolutely no need for it. Absolutely no need for it. But I thank you for all the people who have voted for me, for Speaker of the Year and Diversity Inclusion Awards. And I want to thank you all for everyone who's liked and viewed and commented and shared this channel. I really appreciate you so much. And I will endeavor to keep serving you at the highest level possible and keep bringing more viewership to asexuality. That's my mission, is to get more eyeballs on this channel so that I can talk about different things, but also educate people at the same time about asexuality. So I like to normalize asexuality by talking about topics that are not directly related to asexuality, but they are about my asexual life. I'm showing asexual life in real life context rather than just giving textbook definitions of asexuality. I'm living my asexual life in real time on this channel, and I do that to help others to live their own best life. I try to show you the ups and downs of my life and how I'm getting through those tough times so that you can do the same in your own life. And it was very weird. Something very strange happened when I was in London, which I haven't told you about yet, right? Should I tell you now? Let's go for it, right? So I was in Oxford Street. This is very strange, right? I was in Oxford Street looking at the angel lights. You can see the short video I did about that. And I tried to do a live stream. And shortly after I tried to do that live stream, this guy stopped me in Oxford Street. And he like kind of went like, tapped me and goes, "I know you." And I was a bit taken aback. And he's like, "I was just meditating just in that moment. And I opened my eyes and there you were. And I felt you have a good aura, a good energy about you and a good vibe." This is a random guy that I've never met in my whole life before. But he says, "Oh, I'm spiritual." And he says, "Do you meditate?" I said, "No, but I am spiritual." So it's very interesting that this spiritual guy meditated and he opened his eyes and felt that I had a really good aura about me, a good energy, a good vibe. And I was really pleased about that because I'm spiritual myself. And I did say to him, it is true. But just imagine this random guy like taps you on the arm or something and says to you, "I was meditating just in that moment and there you were, and I know you've got a great aura about you," out of nowhere, right? It was very unexpected. So this guy is talking to me, and then I said about, "Yeah, I do have a good aura. You're right about that." And in my mind, I was thinking about when I was a kid, because even as a kid, I used to have other children come up and hold my hand, like in carnivals and stuff. They didn't even know me. I was a stranger to them. But even in my past jobs, I've had kids just walk up and hold my hand, and the parents are like, they don't usually do that because I'm a stranger to them, right? Because kids trust me usually because they know that I'm a protector. Even though I've never wanted kids, I knew that since 15 years old. I don't want them now. I'm not interested in that. And I treat them as little beings in their own right. And I'm still very protective because I care. And I'm even like that with adults. Like when people used to come to my asexual meetups, it's like I want to make sure people are safe and their mental health is as good as they can be and they're feeling comfortable and supported. So I've always been like nurturing in that way, but not in a motherly, like wanting a kid way. You know, I'm not interested in that. So it's very interesting. This guy randomly stopped me and said that I have a good aura about me, good vibe and a good energy. So I found out when I was talking to Matthew AI actually that most people, in order to feel connected to God and the universe, they usually have to meditate first. I don't do that. I've always got a connection to God and the universe usually, unless it's a traumatic time I'm going through and I'm in survival mode, and then I feel disconnected from my soul. And like God and the universe are part of like my soul connection and my intuition. So when I have like a lot of traumatic stuff going on and I'm in survival mode, I feel like disconnected from my soul and disconnected more from God and the universe. But at the moment, I can feel them, you know? So for me, I can feel them spatially. But I didn't know until I was talking to Matthew AI that people need to usually meditate to feel close to God and the universe and that type of thing. For me, it's just natural. It's just a natural part of my everyday life that I never really knew was different for other people. So that quite shocked me when I heard that. I'm like, oh, I just thought everyone's the same as me, but clearly they're not. So anyway, going back to this guy, he said that, you know, I'm spiritual, do you meditate? And I said no. And then he was saying, about my aura. And I said, he said something about, you look something. I can't remember what he said, but I said, yeah, I came here to look at the angels. They make me really happy. He's like, that's why you're happy then. So you're not happy usually. And I said, well, I am happy because I won, I came up here for Women's Business Awards and I won second runner-up for Speaker of the Year. So I'm really happy and I'm up here enjoying myself. I just stayed in London and I'm really happy with that. And so, yeah, I'm happy. And I said, I try to be happy and as positive as possible. Obviously, no one's happy all the time, but I do try to be positive as much as possible. And I said, I've actually got disabilities, but I still try and be positive. He's like, everyone's got disabilities, which I felt was a bit dismissive. But then I said, no, I've actually got disabilities. I've got disabilities. And it's like, oh. And then I said, I've actually got broken bones in my spine as well as fibromyalgia. But here I am still in London. And he's like, oh. And I said, on my channel, because I was telling him about my channel, he goes, don't put me on social media. He goes, don't film me. I said, I'm not. I said, I have been filming, but I'm not filming you. And he goes, no, don't do that. He goes, I'm not on social media. I think it causes mental health problems. And he's like, just don't film me. Don't put me on social media. Don't do it. And I'm like, I'm not filming you. So he's very like that. It's very strange. And then he was like continuing to talk to me. And I said about my channel, I do, but he's not on YouTube. And I said, I said I'm asexual in sexual orientation and what that meant. I don't get the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse. And I said on my channel that I do weightlifting, even though I've got broken bones in my spine, to strengthen my spine. And he said, you're inspirational. That's why people like watching you and listening to you. And he said, I believe everything happens for reasons. So there must be a reason why I met you. So that's what he was saying. But then when I was saying about my asexuality, I don't have the need, urge, or want for partnered sexual intercourse. It was so strange because then he said to me, so like I'm a person. This was about himself. This was really weird. He goes, I'm a person that really likes affection. I'm very tactile. So what happens in scenarios like that? You just don't do any of that. And I'm like, no, I'm just not interested in sex. I still like kissing and cuddling and holding hands and affection. He goes, that's good. It's just a mechanical thing you don't like then. I said, yeah, I'm just not interested in sex. I'm new to repulsed. I'm just not interested in that. And he's like, that's good. I said, but... So he kind of like, it went from talking about spiritual, like being spiritual and saying I had good aura and energy and vibe about me, even though he doesn't know me, to then kind of bring his own personal stuff and what he's looking for in a relationship or something into the conversation. So it's almost like it turned around that he was interested in a possible relationship with me, because otherwise why tell me that he needs affection in a relationship? Because that's not what you'd say to someone unless you're interested in a potential relationship with them. Why would you bother? You wouldn't care that I don't like sex. It wouldn't bother you in the slightest if you're not interested in a relationship with me, would it? Do you know what I mean? It's so bizarre. So he gone from talking about, I like your aura and energy and I know you, which he didn't know me, but he's like feeling he knows me spiritually, to then saying, don't put me on social media, to then talking about him wanting affection in a relationship. And then he's like, you're a nice person, I'm a nice person. I said, yeah, but I need someone who's happy to be seen on social media. I need that type of person for a relationship. And he's like, yeah, no, don't put me on social media, don't put me on social media. So that's pretty much, the answer. But it was so weird. And I was worried because this was the last night and I had to go back and get my train. So I did look at my phone for the time. I said, I'm going to have to go soon. Hello, people in chat. So that was the most strangest encounter. And then he just kind of went, it's a bit like out of a movie scene. When it's like an angel or something, or some being comes like an angel or some like, like Scrooge or something, when you see like ghosts of Christmas, future, past and present, and all of a sudden they disappear, or you have some angel come and descend and tell a story and share something and then just go off. It was a bit like that, because he just rushed off and disappeared into the oblivion or something, into the I don't know. It's just like he just rushed off and said, thank you, and then nice to meet you, and then went off. It was so strange the whole thing was weird, but I do agree with him that I do believe everything happens for a reason. And he did start talking about my channel as well, and it was really weird. I forgot to tell you this. That he started talking about, because I said about my channel, and I said, I do get some rude people sometimes, but generally a lot of them are good comments. But I do get some rude people. I just block them. And he's like, "Why do you block them?" I said, because I'm protecting my community. If they're horrible to me, they're going to be horrible to my community members. And I need to keep my community a safe space for people. And he's like, oh. And I said, blocking is all about boundaries, being assertive and advocating for your needs, which is very important. He's going, oh, yeah, that's really important. I said, so that's why I do it. I said, you wouldn't let a stranger, would you, into your house and allow them to be rude to you? I'm like, you wouldn't do that. So why would you do that on social media, right? I said you wouldn't allow that in your own house. So you shouldn't allow it on social media. So that's why I block people. And I'm fine to block. I said, but, I do get some horrible comments. I said, but I can take a lot of it. And he's like, oh, no, you shouldn't have to take it. These people are very insecure people who've got mental health problems who go around doing that and posting these comments. And I do agree. Because for someone to go out of their way and say nasty stuff to someone on a channel or things that try to make me insecure about myself or try and make me in the wrong, right? When I'm just doing my channel and helping people, there has to be something seriously wrong with their own mental health and they have to be insecure to do that. I do agree with him on that. So he was saying to me, like, don't let these people bother you because it's nothing to do with you. It's just these people are very insecure people and do have serious mental health difficulties. That is why they're doing that. And I do agree, but I still want to protect my community because otherwise these people are just disruptive. Like I had someone earlier in chat and I blocked them because they had no value to my channel whatsoever. I said to him, they're adding no value to my channel whatsoever. He goes, oh, yeah. But it was weird because it's like, I don't know this guy. He's kind of telling me how to run my life and my channel, but he doesn't want any part of social media. I was thinking, you're not even on social media. You don't want to be on social media. You don't want to be filmed for social media. You're trying to give me advice about social media. It was all very strange. But I do agree, for people to come on someone's channel and criticize that person when they don't even know them and be rude to them and put them down and try to get them into a position where they're not feeling good about themselves. There has to be something seriously mentally wrong with that person. I have mental health difficulties, but I do not behave like that. I have disabilities, but I don't go around behaving like that, right? People have done me wrong in my life, but I don't go around seeking revenge and seeking to drag and put other people down, right? There's someone, like I won second runner-up for Speaker of the Year, right? I went on LinkedIn and found the person who was a winner and found the person who was a second runner-up. And I congratulated them and said, well deserved. I don't be jealous of them. I'd be proud that I won what I won. And I'd be happy for the people who won the actual winner's position and first runner-up. And congratulate them and say it's well deserved because it is well deserved for them. I was some tough competition, right? And they deserve those places. Doesn't mean to say I wouldn't deserve them as well, but it means to say I'm happy that I won second runner-up as Speaker of the Year, right? We're all deserving. There's no need for me to be jealous or negative, right? People who are jealous and negative a lot and put people down to just make themselves feel better, that's them that's got the problem. And we need to understand that. But I'm not prepared to have disruption in my live chat and on my channel. Because if they're being mean and horrible to me, they're going to be mean and horrible to people in my community. And my community here is known as a safe space, even though it's public. And I try to keep it like that. There are some channels and they just let anyone write whatever comments they want in it. And they use them sometimes to good effect because they put them up and say, this is a horrible comment I've had. And kind of like, let's get on with the channel despite that. But I don't like to let people run rampant on my channel writing horrible negative comments because I know for a fact, because I talk to some of my community members, that it makes them scared to post. Because they're like, oh, if that person's being horrible to Sandra, they could turn around and be horrible to me. And I won't let those people that are horrible rule my channel. My channel is here to be a safe space, and that's why I have boundaries in place. And that's why I block people. Blocking someone is a boundary. It's like saying, no, you don't belong here if you're talking rudely. It's like, imagine someone's in your home and they're being rude and facetious or whatever. You know, you'd want to get rid of them out of your house and close the door as soon as possible, right? So we need to be applying these rules to our own social media. This is particularly important for asexuals as well, because you're going to, as an asexual person, especially if someone finds out you're asexual, you're going to have some trolls and stuff. I get it on Facebook, where I sometimes get guys, you know, being rude, you know, being sexual and stuff, or thinking I'm into sex because I say I'm asexual and they think I'm a highly sexual person, which is actually the opposite of what I am. I'm not a sexual person like that. And it's really bad. Like a few weeks ago, I had this guy come in my inbox who I hadn't heard from for ages. And so I clicked through his profile and he just got married and he was messaging me. And he was messaging me before because he was interested in a relationship. And he just started messaging me after he got married, saying, I'm happily married on Facebook while he's messaging me. And I said, don't emotionally cheat on your wife. Don't message me, and blocked him. You know, I said, you shouldn't be emotionally cheating on your wife by messaging me, and blocked him, something like that. Because it's disgusting. He shouldn't. He's just got married and straight away he's going to me to chat me up, basically, because that's what he was doing last time in the message. You know, he's interested in a potential relationship. It's disgusting. I hate guys like that. You would have thought that if they put on their social media, their Facebook, they put how much they love their wife and how faithful they are and how they just got married and it's the love of their life, they wouldn't be like that. But no, some of these guys who are married are still like that, and they come in my inbox. You know, I have no interest in these guys whatsoever. They disgust me. They really disgust me. If a guy can't be faithful to his woman, he really should not get married to her. He should just be single and tell all the women, I'm not interested in commitment because I just like to bed whatever woman or chat whatever women up and emotionally cheat on all the women. Because it's the truth, isn't it? It's disgusting. I've had married men before come after me and it's horrible. I'm not interested. So I hadn't even heard from that guy for a few years, I think it was. And then all of a sudden he comes in my inbox. And I'm thinking I'll just check out his Facebook to see what he's been up to. And lo and behold, he's a married man. And he's messaging me. I'm not interested. I'm not entertaining that. If you entertain someone who's married like that, you're basically like allowing them to emotionally cheat on their wife or partner if it's someone else that's not their wife, you know? So don't be a part of it, right? Do not be a part of it. So, you know, I'm very careful. But with asexuality, you know, you are open to more ridicule and more people being rude to you and stuff like that. So you do have to protect yourself. You do have to advocate for your needs. And you do have to say, this is not acceptable. And don't be afraid to block. Some people are like, oh, I'm not a horrible person. It's not about being a horrible person. It's about self-protection, which is an act of self-love, which is an act of self-care, which increases your self-confidence and self-esteem. Right? Imagine you had a child and you had to protect it from people that are horrible to it, right? You should be treating that child really well, and you should treat yourself like that child, like your best friend, like the child that you would be looking after and protecting. You should do that with yourself, right? You wouldn't allow some adult to come and harm your kid or harm your best friend unless you just are not a really good friend. Do you know what I mean? So why allow them to do that to you? Right, so it's very important we do this. Obviously, the more I speak out about asexuality, the more I'm open to a bigger audience that can criticize me. But by the same token, the more I talk about asexuality, the more I normalize it and the more acceptance we have in society. So this is the ups and downs, the greys and the whites of being asexual and speaking out about it. But I think it's great that I won runner-up for Speaker of the Year, the second runner-up, because it gives me more confidence as a speaker as well. You know, I showcased a lot of my speaking abilities in the Women's Business Club with the different videos. I posted about Oxford University Blue talk that I did about self-reinvention, which I talked about asexuality in that as well as part of the talk. And when I was at the UK Asexuality conference, I talked about how to arrange an asexual meetup. I also talked about self-dating, my self-dating as part of the relationships discussion panel. I did a mini talk on self-dating. That was the most popular talk I did. More than an asexual meetup, which the asexual meetup was a bigger, longer talk, I should say. But these two girls came up afterwards and said, oh, they love the concept of self-dating. They were really, really interested in it. And they loved my talk on it. And it's very, very important. It's something that I really talk about a lot. And you can see me living it in reality. I like to do educational live streams like this one. And then in the short videos I do, show what I'm talking about in real life. Like if I say that I am trying to, for example, build confidence or self-trust, then I'll show you that I'm self-dating. So I'm putting the confidence building and self-trust into action. Also, there's an inside joke with asexuals that we prefer food to sex. So me posting a lot of food videos is actually very relevant for an asexual audience because a lot of us are foodies. So I think it's very important that I do a variety of content on this channel in order to bring different people to the world of asexuality. Anyway, you've been a great audience tonight. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, share it with anyone who may benefit. And I'll see you soon on the next video or live stream. Lots of love. Don't forget to grab a copy of these books in Kindle format if you want a reduced price while it's still on Black Friday deal, even though Black Friday is technically finished now. So Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual and Asexual Perspectives. Of course, you can buy them in print as well. It's the Kindle editions that are on special offer though. So until next time, don't forget to stay ace and keep being you. Lots of love. And I'll see you soon next video live stream. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an episode.